Hello everyone, Catweazle here, welcome to the channel and welcome to our new playthrough, which is Mage Knight, where, as this is my very first game of Mage Knight, we will be playing the first walkthrough scenario, which is called First Reconnaissance. It's basically an exploration scenario and it will introduce us to the basic concepts of the game. Okay, as you can see, I've already done quite a bit of the setup. I wanted to get it organised, and this is the basic recommended setup that is outlined in the rulebook. Okay, anything else that I've already done? Well, I've already randomly picked our Mage Knight, and the Mage Knight that I've ended up with is Norowas, and he is an Elven Knight, as you can see, very nicely turned out, huge sword. Hopefully that will come in very useful. So that's Norowas, who will be our Mage Knight. I've pulled out his deed deck and his various tokens, and they are ready to go. Okay, part of his tokens are his shield tokens, which are here, and there's quite a few of them. You use them for various things during the game, and the first thing that we use two of them for is on the fame and reputation track. This is the fame and reputation track here. Tracking fame and reputation is very important in the game. What do you do? Well, first of all, use two of your tokens at the start of each track. So you put them both on 0. The fame track, you get fame through killing monsters, through taking control of various keeps and mage towers, things like that, and that will increase your fame. As you can see, it's got a sort of ladder to it, and there are various levels. When you move down to another level, you level up. It's quite straightforward, and what happens when you level up is explained by the iconography down the side here. We'll go through that during the game when it actually happens. As it stands, we start on 0. As soon as we get to 3 fame, we will level up. In the top right hand corner is the reputation track. Now this can go either minus or positive. If it goes positive, that's great, because everybody likes you and thinks you're brilliant. And as you get these positives, it can go up to +5. This will add on to your influence. So if you want to get units for your army, you'll find it a lot easier if you have a positive reputation score. If you have a negative reputation score, it won't be so easy, although there are some units that do like you having a negative score. Basically, there are some nasty units out there that like a baddie, but generally the more positive your reputation is, the better. Your reputation is affected by things like if you kill rampaging monsters, your reputation will go up, but if you attack things like keeps and mage towers, it will go down. So there's a bit of a balancing act to be made with the reputation, but generally the higher it is, the better it is for you. So that's the fame and the reputation track. We'll see that in action as we play the game. Another thing that I've already set up are the enemy tokens. These are the enemy tokens up here. As you can see, they're just a set of circular tokens, and in the case of the ancient ruins, hexagonal tokens, and on the flip side they've generally got monsters, and these monsters are what you're going to have to kill during the course of the game. The ancient ruins are slightly different. Some of them have got monsters on, others have got sacrifices that have to be made in order to gain a reward. All those have been shuffled. We will probably use the rampaging orcs during the game, the keeps during the game, the mage towers during the game, the dungeons during the game, the dragons not so much, hopefully, or the city tiles. because we don't actually go into a city during this scenario, and we may get a couple of ancient ruins to have a look at. So they've all been shuffled and set up, so they are ready to go. Once the enemy tokens were set up, what I did then was sort out the card decks. Now over here to the right hand side, this deck here is our spell deck. Next to it is our wound deck, and you can get wounds obviously through combat and they will go into your hand. We will see that during the game. And the final deck on the right hand side here is an artifact deck, which is full of artifact goodies that can really help us out. So they're all set up and they're all shuffled, apart from the wound deck because they're all exactly the same. But they have all been fully shuffled. Just to show you what a spell deck looks like, here are some of the spells that I had to take out because you don't use all the spells in this particular game. Because we're playing solo, we're taking some cooperative spells out like Mana Meltdown here. So it will have a top half and a bottom half. The top half is powered by red mana, which I'll go through in a bit, and the bottom half is powered by red mana and black mana. I'll go through mana at a later date. So these particular spells, as I say, it recommends that you take them out. So we've only got the first 16 spells and those are shuffled up here. So these go back to the box, and that is our spell deck that is ready to rock and roll. As I say, you can see the wound cards there, and I won't spoil the artifacts for you. We'll just see what we get when we pull one. Okay, so that is it for the spells, for the wounds and the artifact decks. After those decks, we've got a deck here on the left hand side that we need to prepare. This is the advanced actions deck. Now we've got a few here that I can show you. Here are some advanced actions. We've only got the first 16, that's what's recommended for first reconnaissance. So what we've done is we've got rid of all these. As you can see, there are a fair few. There are probably some shades of Tesla, Lost Legion ones in here as well. We're just using the top 16 because it's our first game. But as you can see, they're split into two, very similar to the spells. But unlike the spells, this top bit here, that doesn't require any mana at all. That's just the base ability. However, then you will have a mana symbol here. This one again is red, and if you pay red mana, then you are able to use this stronger ability down here. So as you can see, they're all very much like that, and like there's green mana, another red, there's blue, and there's white. So all the advanced actions are like this. They are sort of stronger versions of the cards that you get in your D deck. So I'll put these back into the box, and that is it for the advanced actions deck. Next to the advanced actions deck on the left hand side is a silver deck. These are your standard units. We only use standard units during first reconnaissance, but just to show you what they look like, we have also a gold backed elite deck. Now we don't use the elite deck, but they are very similar to the standard ones, except they're just stronger. So just to give you an example of what you will see, you will have a cost here. That's a cost in influence. So remember, if you had +5 on your reputation track, this guy would only cost an extra 4 influence. So that's why it is very important. I'll go through the iconography on these during the game, but basically you get a name and you get a level, which is an indicator of how powerful they are, and then you've got various abilities that they give you. As you can see, some here have a mana cost, and the top one does not have a mana cost. And they have an armor rating and a nice little illustration. So they're all very similar, they're all set out in very much the same way. Now this is the gold deck, so these are the really strong units. We're just going to use the silver units, which are up here. They're not quite as strong, but they are pretty good. Okay, so we'll put these particular ones back into the box. I've zoomed in on the standard units because we need to make the standard unit offer. That will be 3 cards that will be available for us to purchase. If we go to villages or mage towers or keeps, we can actually purchase these units. So what we'll do is we'll take the deck, we'll give them a quick shuffle. I've already shuffled it, but we'll do it again, and we'll do a quick cut, and we will pull 3 cards that are going to be in that offer. Now, one of these cards has to have a village icon on it, otherwise we'll just have to keep drawing. So the first card is Red Cape Monks. Now, these are only available in a monastery. They cost 7, they're a level 2, they've got 4 armour, and they do attack 3 or block 3. And with a red mana, they do fire attack 4 or fire block 4. So that's our first unit. So we'll move him down here. And our next unit is Butum Guardsmen. Now, this is okay because we do have the village symbol here. They're also available in keeps, which is what that symbol means. They cost 5, another level 2 unit. They have 5 armour. They can attack for 2 or they can block for 4, and it counts twice against an attack with swiftness. Excellent. So that's second. And our final unit for the offer are peasants. These are a level 1 unit, not particularly good. They've got 3 armour, they cost 4, again can be bought in a village. Attack or block 2, influence 2, and move 2. So those are peasants. They go up here, and we can replace our standard unit deck, and we have our unit offer. Brilliant. Okay, that's the standard unit offer. The next thing to look at is our day-night board, which is here. So as you can see, it's got a nice daytime picture of a castle in the distance. You'll see these icons at the side here. Those are the terrain costs. So you'll see that when we have a look at the tiles that make up the board. But these will be the movement costs for each type of terrain during the day. Now, over here is where we'll put something called our mana source. But before I do that, let's just flip it over, and as you can see, this is the nighttime side of the board. An important thing to note is the terrain costs. For example, forests and deserts do change. So at night, forests are more difficult to go through, whereas deserts are easier to go through compared to the daytime, where it's 3 in the day for a forest and 5 at night for a desert. So we do start in the day, so that's the correct side. We'll put that there. And what goes in here is called the mana source. And the mana source are these dice. And what we use these for are to overpower spells or overpower abilities. Remember, I've pointed out a couple of cards where I said you had to use, I think it was red mana, wasn't it? And you can use red mana to overpower those cards where I pointed it out. Now, there are 6 colours of mana. There's blue, there's green, there's red, and there's white, and those first 4 are the basic colours. So that is your basic mana. So all of those are just your basic mana colours. There are 2 other types of mana colour. There is gold, and gold only works during the day. At night it is called depleted and you can't use it. But during the day it can be used, and it can be used as a wild card. Gold can be used for any of the 4 basic colours during the day. Yes, so it's just like a wild card for those 4 colours. The other mana colour is black. Now, black is depleted during the day, but obviously during the night time you can use it. Now, black isn't a wild card. What you use black for is to overpower spells. So all spells cost mana, but at night you can actually use black mana to do more powerful spells. That's what black mana's for. Generally it works at night, but there are some areas on the board that have nighttime rules applying, things like graveyards and stuff like that. So even during the day, occasionally you can use it. So that's mana and the 6 colours of it. Now, because we're playing a solo game, we get 1 mana dice for 1 player, and we get 2 extra. So we will have 3 mana. So what we may as well do is roll our source now. And let's see what we get. And we get 2 white and a blue. So we'll put those into the source. And generally, source mana, you can use 1 source mana die a turn. It's powerful stuff, so you can only generally use it once per turn. However, there are abilities and cards that do allow you to use an extra one occasionally. Not often, but occasionally. So there we go, we've got 2 whites and a blue. Mana, strange stuff. As well as there being 6 colours, there are 3 types of it. There's source mana, which you've already seen, which is quite obvious because it is the dice. However, there's another type of mana called crystal mana. It's used exactly the same as source mana, and for example, here is a green crystal. And this is slightly different from source mana in that it's found as a physical thing. So there are actually crystal mines on the map where you can actually pick this stuff up. And the good thing about crystals is you can actually keep them. So you can keep them for more than a turn. You can carry them around with you and just use them when you want to use them. So they're very portable. So that is crystal mana. There's a third type of mana that you can get, and it's generally called a mana token during the game, but it is a bit confusing because you also use the crystals to denote it, so it can get a bit confusing. The thing about a mana token is once you have created it, you generally create it through an ability or through a card, something like that. You have to use it the turn you create it. You cannot carry it around with you. As soon as your turn ends when you created it, that mana will disappear. So crystals are slightly better because you can hold on to them and you don't have to use it on the same turn. But a mana token, it's sort of like mana essence, I suppose it is. In fact, yes, that's a good word. When I'm actually going through the game, when I refer to the source, I'll be referring to the dice. When I refer to crystals, I'll be referring to the crystals. But if I say mana essence, then it's essentially a mana token, and I have to use it that turn. You don't have to use it, but if you don't use it, you will lose it. So those are the 3 different types of mana and the 6 different types of colour. So that is our source sorted out. Having talked about day and night, just a quick word about rounds. A day is a round and a night is a round. In a round you have turns. So when your hero plays a hand of cards, that is a turn. So when I'm talking about mana essence, during a turn where I'm playing some cards, I will have to use that mana essence on that turn. A mana crystal, we could just keep hold of it, it does not matter. Okay, so we will be starting in the daytime. Because we're starting in the daytime, that means we will be using day tactics. You have 6 tactic cards for day, and you've got 6 for night. What we'll do is, these are quite free to look at, and we will choose one of these when we start the game. Then, when it comes to the night time, we'll do exactly the same, and we will pick one from here. And once you've done that, you are ready to start the game. The reason they are numbered, and you probably guess, because number 1's called early bird, the lower the number means the earlier that you will take your turn. So somebody with this early bird card will go before somebody with the rethink card. So that's what those are around. So we will pick those when we are just about to start. but those are our tactic cards. The next thing to talk about are map tiles. So these are the map tiles for this particular scenario. The scenario tells you which map tiles to select, and it's told us to use the start tile. Now the start tile is the only tile that is double-sided, and if you look in the corner here, you'll see it's got an A on it. For first reconnaissance, we need to use this tile with the A on it. So that is our start tile. We also have 8 grass green backed tiles. Now these are numbers 1 to 8, but what we've got to do is we've just got to shuffle them. So I've already shuffled them, but we'll shuffle them again. And those are what are called our countryside tiles. So those are shuffled. Below those, we've got 3 khaki coloured tiles, I suppose you'd call it, and these are called core tiles. So these are core tiles. Now the core tiles are split into 2 types. There are city tiles and there are non-city tiles. The city tiles obviously have a city on them, the others do not. It told us to take 2 tiles that didn't have a city on and 1 tile that did. I've done that, and again you just shuffle them, and there we go, they are ready. So these go down here and the countryside tiles go on top. Now if you remember at the beginning of the introduction, I told you the whole idea of first reconnaissance is for us to find the capital city. So we're going to have to go through 8 of these countryside tiles, and then finally we're going to have a look at these last 3 tiles and try and find the capital city. So this just means that we're not going to find it straight away on our first turn. We're going to have to do some exploring, and quite right too, otherwise it'd be a pretty boring game. So we've set those up and we've got our starting tile here. So let's move across to where we're going to set out the map. And here we are, ready to set out the map. Now to start off with, Norowas has come out of this portal here, so he's stood on there and he's ready to go exploring for the capital city. To start the game, we do get to reveal 2 tiles and set them up. We're going to do it in a wedge pattern, so the map is going to sort of spread out this way. And that means we need to pick one of these countryside tiles, and it's important that we orientate it correctly. What have we got here? We've got tile 5. So we've got to make sure that this number is in the same orientation as the A in that corner. And then, I don't know if you can see, this sort of truncated star there. Another one here, and another truncated circle. These help you orientate the tiles correctly. Now, because the A's in this corner, it should fit something like this. So let's try and work that out. This may take me some time. There we go. So there we are. That looks correct. So that is our first tile. Our second tile, again, let's have a look at this. We need to find the number. Here is the number, and this is tile 2. So, oh, remember how I mentioned about mana crystals? This is a mana crystal mine where you can actually get green crystals. So, nice to see one of those. So, tile 2, that's going to go on this side. And that's just going to slot in like so. There we have the start of our map. We still have got 6 countryside tiles to go through, so we've still got to explore, and then we'll hit the core tiles that are on the bottom. Hopefully we will run into the city fairly quickly, and as soon as we do, that is first reconnaissance over. Now, we've set up the tiles, but it's not finished there. As you can see, there is some iconography on the tiles. We've already discussed the green crystal mine. These are villages. Well, that's a village, sorry. that is a monastery. This is the location of a rampaging enemy. Remember those green tokens right at the start? So there's one here and one here. That is a magical glade. Talk about those later. Magical glade again. And over here is another crystal mine, but this one is blue crystals. So what we need to do is we need to get 2 rampaging orc tokens. So I'll just go and get those. Now we put these onto the map face up. We'll go left to right. So the left one has got these guys. Right, I think these are called diggers. I'm not quite sure. The fortified, we'll go through that during the game. They have an armour of 3. They have an attack of 3. And you get 2 fame for killing them. So that's going to go on the left. Just here. And the next one is... Ooh, this looks like an orc summoner, I think. I'm not quite sure what they're all called. I'm sure those of you that play this game a lot will let me know. But I think it's a summoner because you see this little brown token here, which is a dungeon token. He will actually summon a dungeon monster. And we will fight the dungeon monster. Essentially the block and the attack of the dungeon monster will attack us and block from us. But when we actually come to attack, we don't attack that monster, we attack this guy. He's got 4 armour and he's got 4 fame as well. So this guy could be pretty tough depending on what he summons out of the dungeon. And he goes over here. Okay, so that's our map set up. Let's get back to the player area. And here we are back with Norowas. So let's take a closer look at him. So he has these tokens here, which are his level tokens. So as you can see, we've got it set up at 1 to 2 because that's his current level. He's got an armour of 2 and he's got a hand limit of 5. And as you go through the tokens, you'll see 3 to 4, his armour goes up, his hand level limit stays the same. Then 5 to 6, his hand limit increases, and so on, all the way up to level 10 there. So we put those in that order. So he's 1 and 2. There is a blank token as well, this one, and this is a command token. So he's allowed to command 1 unit. Remember those standard units in the unit offer? If he picks up one of those, he will be able to command it because he's got a command token. And what happens as you level up, if you flick these over, they turn into a command token as well. So you can command more units as you level up. But as it is, he's only got the 1. So that is what they are. He also has a set of skills. These are his skills, and flick them over, and they've got all sorts of iconography on them. Now what I've got to do is give these a quick shuffle and try not to drop one like I've just done. So give these a quick shuffle and we will be ready to rock and roll with those. Right, that's those done. We'll put those there. Now, we've had to take one of the skills out. Remember, we've took a few cards out, for example. We've also got to take this particular skill out because it's an interactive skill. It's a co-op skill, and we're playing solo, so we'll take this out. There's another skill here that I'm also going to take out. This, for the same reason, it's interactive, but this is not Norowas's, this is the dummy players. We'll see the dummy player in a short while. But both of these, because they're interactive skills, we don't use them. So I'll put those back in the box. So those are the skills. We won't get the skills till we level up, so I'll go through them in greater detail then. As well as those tokens, we've also got the all-important deed deck here. And this is Norowas's deed deck. He's got 16 cards. Each one of the Mage Knights has 16 cards. Some are replicated, they're the same, but generally they have different abilities. So they'll have very similar move, for example. but they may have more move cards or less. But you will see some of the cards are actually duplicated. You do know which Mage Knight they're for, because they have their own symbol here in the corner. So there's the symbol for Norowas, and these are his 16 cards here. Now, some of these cards I've got, for example, there, can you see there is a tiny little mark there? This means this is an updated card, this particular one. It's not of the original printing. Some of the cards did get updated, and you just have to go through, take the old ones out and put the new ones in. So we've done that here. So this is his D deck of 16 cards. You can add to that, obviously, with spells and with advanced actions. So your deck will get bigger as you go on. So let's just give those a quick shuffle. And when we come to draw for our first turn, we'll take 5 cards from there because the hand limit is 5. So we will put that back down there. So that is Norowas. Now, as I mentioned, I did mention the dummy player, so we'll pop across there and I'll explain what the dummy player does. And here we are with the dummy player, Brevilar. I also picked him randomly. Now, we don't use all the tokens for Brevilar, we only use some of the tokens. The main ones are the skill tokens. Now, we've taken out the interactive token, but all the rest may well be available for Norowas to use. As you level up, Brevilar sort of mirrors that in a way, and he makes some of his skills available, and Norowas may be able to choose those skills. It does cause him some restrictions if he does. We'll go through that should he actually pick one of those skills. But suffice to say, those skills may be available for Norowas to actually take and use instead of his own skills. We also have the actual D deck, and this is the actual timer. What we do when it's the dummy player's go, we will turn 3 cards over and form a discard pile. And each time it's his turn, he'll turn 3 cards over, and eventually he will get to the bottom of his deck, and then he will declare end of round. Then we'll get another round to do what we can, and then it's finish. That's the actual end of the round. In addition to that though, when we have a look at Brevilar's card here, all the Mage Knights have these sort of 3 little icons on the bottom here. Now, they're not used during normal play, they're only used if you are using the Mage Knight as a dummy player. And what you've got to do when you've got these icons is put crystals on of the same colour. So we've got 2 blue and a green here. So put that back and put a green crystal on, and we'll put back these 2 blue crystals. And what are these for? Well, remember I said we would turn over 3 of these. So we turn over 3 of these when it was Brevilar's turn, and for here we've got Druidic Paths. Now this is a blue card. Yes, you can tell by the blue mana symbol there. Because we've got 2 blue crystals, we would have to put 2 extra cards over. Yes, so instead of going through 3, he goes through 5. So that is the purpose of the crystals on the card. If he keeps pulling blue cards, then he is going to go through his deck a lot quicker. If he does not pull any cards that match a crystal, then he will only cycle through 3 cards. So what you're hoping for as Norowas's player is that he's not going to turn over his deck too quickly, because otherwise you're not going to have enough time to do what you have to do. So that's quite a clever mechanism, really. You will get more crystals on the dummy player as we level up. You'll see how that happens during the actual game, but he will get more crystals. He will also get more cards though. So it's quite a clever, elegant way in order to time the game. So that is the dummy player. And what I'll do is, obviously, I shall reshuffle these. So I don't know what's coming next. And that is that. And here we are looking at the play area again. There are a couple of cards I haven't gone through. I shall quickly go through them. These are reference cards for the skills. So as you can see here, you just have a look at the skill that you draw, and then this will tell you how you use it. The same with Brevilars there. And if you actually flip them over, these ones that are slightly darker colour, those are the 2 interactive skills that I ditched out of the game. So it just makes it easier for you to identify them. So those are the skill reference cards. There's a couple more reference cards over here for things like villages and monasteries and stuff like that. So if we come across any of these, you do have a little reference card that you can consult. Finally, oh, just this one here. At the end of the game, obviously you have to score how well you did, and there you go. And there's something on, oh, I think that's, get rid of that, that's Shades of Tesla, I think. And there's just a thing on cooperative skills and stuff. We probably don't need that either. So this is just how you tot up your victory points at the end of the game. So we'll put that over here. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, one more thing to mention. We do have the standard unit offer here. Now, normally you would have an advanced actions offer and you would have a spell offer. But when you actually start first Reconnaissance, they say don't put them out yet. So, for example, you don't put the spell offer out until you actually run into a Mage Tower, which is where you get spells from. And the advanced actions, we will do those as soon as we level up. And they will get an offer very similar to the unit offer here. And then at the end of each round, they're actually refreshed. But I will show you at the end of the first round, when we go into the first night, I will show you how those offers are refreshed. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We've just got one last thing to do, and that is to pick our first hand. So I'll give this a last shuffle, because we can't shuffle it again until the next round. So we'll do that and a cut, and we will pick our first 5 cards, which will go into our play area. Our first card is Noble Manners, which is an influence card. Our second card is Crystallize. Very good. That'll allow us to get some crystals. And we've got Mana Draw. So there we go. We could do with some movement actually. Then we've got March, and that is a movement card. And then our final card for the initial draw is Determination, which again isn't movement. However, that is not quite the end of it, because we've got one last thing to do. Do you remember the tactics cards? So we'll get the day cards here. As I say, we can look through them. Don't want that one, that's a night one. So we've got them all here. Now we get to choose first as the player, and what I'm going to choose is Great Start. When you take this tactic, immediately draw 2 cards, so that's in addition to the 5 that we've drawn there. We're going to draw this extra 2 because we've only drawn 1 movement card. It's a good card to take anyway when you're playing solo, so I'm going to take this particular card. And what I'll do is I'll just stand it up there. So we've got Great Start. The dummy player also gets a card. Obviously he doesn't get to pick, he gets it randomly. So just do that. Do a cut. And he gets Mana Steal. So put that over here. He's got Mana Steal. That will just put it on there. Put it on there like that. Okay, so he's got Mana Steal. He doesn't actually use it. It's just an indication of who goes first. So he will be going first. Because he's going first, what we do is we take these tokens and we'll just put Brevilars above Norowas's there to show us that he will go first. We got great start, so we get 2 more cards. Stamina, which is another move card, brilliant. And whoop. And our second is concentration, apparently an excellent card. Brilliant. So those are our 7 cards to start with, and that is what we'll be using during turn 1. This is the end of the introduction and setup of Mage Knight and First Reconnaissance. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you are looking forward to playing the game. But that won't be till next time. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all the views. Thanks for all the subscriptions. Thanks for all the likes and the dislikes. And thank you so much for all the help and support. If I've made any errors, please let me know and I will try and fix them before we start turn 1. Thanks so much to everybody who's been across to Board Game Links to watch the videos over there, and anybody on BGG who likes the videos on the threads over there, or makes a comment or drops any geek gold or anything of that nature. Thank you very much. Right, that's it for the introduction and setup. I hope you join me for turn 1 of Mage Knight and First Reconnaissance. But until then, this is me, Catweazle, signing off. Toodaloo.